You've seen the tragic images of pelicans, sea turtles, and other animals covered in crude oil in the Gulf of Mexico. They are the quiet victims of the current oil spill. This morning, as part of our My Environment series, we are happy to welcome back our friends from SeaWorld in Orlando, Florida, to the show. Dr. Scott Gerhart, a veterinarian from the park, is here to tell us what's being done to save these innocent animals at sea. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
First, let's talk about your background. You have worked extensively with animals in the past.
I've been a veterinarian for over 20 years now, and approximately 19 of those years I've been working with sea life.
And you are very passionate.
I really, really love what I do. It's a fabulous job.
Now let's talk about the relief efforts in the Gulf. We've seen so many times the pictures of the pelican. It's like the poster child, if you will, of this horrendous situation in the Gulf. Other animals are being affected as well. Can you tell me about it?
We have a lot of those animals that we have at SeaWorld are being affected. The manatees, the sea turtles, the dolphins, and so forth, as well as of course, other types of sea life like the birds, the fish, even the oysters can be affected and are being devastated by this tragic event.
And you brought a pretty interesting demonstration, and I'm hoping my viewers really turn to the TV and watch this. This actually shows what the oil does, if I'm correct, Doctor, to the feathers of the birds?
Yes, put very simply, the birds have two types of feathers, and the outer layer is more of a waterproofing, and those are feathers that are responsible for a bird's flight.
Okay.
Whereas closer to the body, they have the more downy type of feathers, and those are responsible for their thermoregulation, or how they regulate their body temperature, and as well it's responsible for a buoyancy.
Okay.
So what happens is when the oil, the crude oil, penetrates that outer waterproof layer, and I have what I have here is motor oil, which is a little more refined and not as sticky as the stuff that these birds are encountering.
But it's a good analogy anyway.
Yeah. So this represents the downy layer that's next to the bird. What happens is once it penetrates the outer layer and gets to that inner layer, you can see how that will just collapse down, and they lose those air spaces that are trapped underneath those feathers, and so the bird has tremendous difficulty in trying to regulate its body temperature. So they become hypothermic, and as well they lose their buoyancy, so they're at risk of drowning.
My goodness. So when you have one of these birds that you rescue and you see them like this, how do you clean their feathers? Well,
the first thing you would do is make sure the birds are stable enough to undergo this rigorous type of cleaning that's going to proceed.
Sure.
And so what you can do is things like canola oil or even mayonnaise is used to get a lot of the real goopy, globby crude oil off the birds.
Mayonnaise.
And then from there, they will go to tubs of dishwashing liquid like Dawn and progressively move from one tub to another, cleaned off, rinsed off, and then dried.
It must be an amazing experience for you and everyone at SeaWorld to be able to save these animals. In fact, you just rescued dozens of turtles. Tell me about that experience when you saw those turtles come in and they needed your help.
Yes. Thousands of sea turtles are being affected by this tragedy, and we have received dozens of turtles at SeaWorld. And when they come in, we look them over, make sure that they're stable, look for any signs of trauma that they may have suffered as a result of this.
You actually put a couple of these turtles that we're looking at right now into those little pools, if you will?
Yes, we have a really nice facility at SeaWorld made specifically for animals affected by the oil spill.
That's great.
They each have their own little pool, and yeah, it's really nice to be able to work with these animals. I enjoy it immensely.
That's amazing. And of course, eventually they're set free?
That's the ultimate goal of all animals that we take in at SeaWorld.
You know, a lot of people will come up to me, and even my husband and I have talked about it, and my kids, and I'm sure your kids too, you know, what can we do to help out in the Gulf? Everybody's aware of what's going on. You know, is there something that just we can do? Because we feel helpless. We want to do something.
Right.
We want to go over there and do something.
Right. Well, SeaWorld SeaWorld'sCares.com is a website where we have lots of videos and pictures of the animal rescue efforts that we are undergoing there. And for somebody who wants to be involved with the effort that is going on in the Northern Gulf, they can visit restorethegulf.gov, and in that way they can learn how they can contribute time, possibly donations and things like that.
There's even a course that if you become certified, if you will, you can actually maybe get some hands-on, if you will?
Yeah, the thing is nobody, unless they're hazmat trained, can actually go to the Gulf themselves and participate in this process. So there's kind of a little online training course that can be made available so that they can be certified to take care of animals.
And no doubt this is going to take a very long time to fix and clean up, and I'm sure you guys are in it for the long haul, right?
We will be around as long as there's animals in that area that need us.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I really appreciate everything that you do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. And for more information on how SeaWorld is helping animals or how you can help, make sure to visit those two websites the doctor just mentioned, and that's SeaWorld'sCares.com or restorethegulf.gov. Get involved.